I ruined my wife's night to help a millionaire. He showed up at our door the next day. My wife stood in the doorway of our bedroom, still wearing the emerald dress she had bought 3 months ago for this night, mascara streaking down her cheeks like black rivers. Her voice was quiet when she finally spoke, so quiet I almost did not hear her. You destroyed the most important night of my life to help a stranger. I will never forgive you for this, Nathan. Never. She turned and walked into the bathroom, closing the door with a soft click that somehow hurt more than if she had slammed it. I stood there in our living room, my phone still in my hand, the screen black now that the call had ended. The apartment felt too small suddenly, the walls pressing in. Outside, the city hummed with its usual Friday night energy, but in here, everything had gone silent and cold. I tried to replay the evening in my mind, tried to understand how it had all fallen apart so completely, but my thoughts were scattered, fragmented, like trying to reassemble a shattered mirror where each piece reflected a different moment, a different choice, a different version of how things could have gone. Let me start from the beginning. Let me show you how we got here. 6 months earlier, Jennifer got the promotion she had been working toward for 3 years. Regional Marketing Director for Clearwater Media, one of the biggest advertising firms on the East Coast. It came with a substantial raise, an office with actual walls instead of a cubicle, and most importantly, respect. Real respect from people who had dismissed her ideas for years. I remember the day she found out. She called me from her car, parked in the company lot, because she could not wait until she got home. Nathan, I got it. Oh my God, I actually got it. Her voice was shaking with joy and disbelief. They chose me. Out of 8 candidates, they chose me. I was at the hardware store picking up supplies for a repair job, standing in the paint aisle with color swatches in my hand, and I felt this surge of pride so intense it almost knocked me over. That is incredible, Jen. I am so proud of you. I knew they would see what I see. Really? You really think I can do this? I know you can. You are the most capable person I have ever met. They are lucky to have you. She started crying then, happy tears, relief tears, years of doubt and hard work finally paying off. I love you so much. Thank you for believing in me even when I did not believe in myself. Always, I said, I will always believe in you. And I meant it. With everything in me, I meant it. Jennifer and I met 7 years ago at a community college where we were both taking night classes. She was working toward her marketing degree while waitressing during the day. I was learning electrical work while doing construction jobs on the side. We were both exhausted all the time, running on coffee and determination, trying to build better lives than the ones we had been born into. She sat next to me in Economics 101, and I noticed her immediately, not just because she was beautiful, which she was, but because of the way she took notes. She had this system with different colored pens, organized and precise, like she was creating art instead of just writing down whatever the professor said. I was messy, scribbling in the margins, half listening while I worried about whether I could make rent that month. One night after class, she dropped her notebook and papers went everywhere. I helped her pick them up, and she thanked me with this smile that made my chest feel tight. We started studying together after that, then getting coffee. Then actual dates when we could afford them, which was not often. Our first real date was at a diner at 2 in the morning, because that was the only time our schedules aligned. We split a plate of fries and talked until the sun came up. She told me about growing up in a small town in Ohio, about her parents who did not understand why she wanted more than they had. I told her about my dad leaving when I was 6, about my mum working 3 jobs to keep us afloat, about how I was determined to make something of myself so I could take care of her one day. You are going to do amazing things, Jennifer said that night, reaching across the sticky diner table to hold my hand. I can tell. You have that look. What look? The look of someone who does not quit, who keeps going no matter what. It is rare. Most people give up. You have it too, I said. She smiled. Then maybe we should stick together, see what we can build. We got married 2 years later in a tiny ceremony at City Hall. Her parents did not come. My mum did, crying happy tears the entire time. We could not afford rings, so we used temporary ones from a vintage shop and promised to upgrade them someday when we could. We never did upgrade them. By the time we could afford it, those rings meant too much. They represented who we were when we started, what we overcame, what we built together from nothing. For 5 years we struggled, really struggled. There were months we had to choose between electricity and internet. Weeks we lived on rice and whatever was on sale. But we never considered giving up. We both worked constantly, saved aggressively, invested in ourselves. I got my electrician's license. She finished her degree and landed an entry-level position at Clearwater. We moved from a studio apartment to a 1-bedroom, then to a 2-bedroom in a better neighborhood. Slowly, carefully, we climbed. When she got the promotion to regional director, it felt like we had finally made it. Like all those years of sacrifice were paying off. We could breathe, we could plan for the future. We could start thinking about things like buying a house, maybe having kids, taking actual vacations instead of just daydreaming about them. The promotion came with immediate responsibilities. Jennifer was suddenly managing a team of 15 people across 3 offices. She was traveling more, attending conferences, networking with clients. The company was hosting a gala in October, a huge annual event where they announced awards, made speeches, unveiled new campaigns. It was a big deal for everyone, but especially for new executives. It was where you proved you belonged. Jennifer got an invitation in July. Black tie event at the Grandview Hotel, the fanciest place in the city. When she showed me the invitation, her hands were trembling slightly. "This is where they evaluate us," she said. "Not officially, but everyone knows. How you present yourself, who you talk to, whether you fit the culture. People have been passed over for partnerships because they did not make the right impression at the gala." "You will be amazing," I told her. "You always are. Will you come with me? As my +1? Of course, I would not miss it." She hugged me tight. "I need you there, Nathan. I need someone in my corner. These events make me nervous. All the politics, the small talk with people who are evaluating everything you say and do. But if you are there, I can do it. I can handle anything if you are there." That became our focus for the next 3 months. The gala, making sure Jennifer looked perfect, felt confident, had everything she needed to succeed. She bought the emerald dress in August, a gorgeous thing that cost more than we would normally spend but was worth it. It fit her perfectly, made her look powerful and elegant. She got her hair done, practiced conversation topics, memorized the names and titles of everyone important who would be there. I rented a tux, got my hair cut, bought new shoes. We practiced dancing in our living room because there would be dancing, and Jennifer wanted to make sure we looked coordinated, like a team. "We are a team," she kept saying. "We have always been a team. That is what got us here." I believed that completely. We were a team. We had built our lives together, sacrifice by sacrifice, choice by choice. This gala was not just about her career. It was about us, about what we had accomplished together, about showing all those people who had doubted us that we belonged in those rooms, wearing those clothes, living those lives. The week before the gala, I finished a major job for a client. Complete electrical rewiring for a small office building downtown. It was a big project, one that would give me enough money to finally start my own contracting business instead of working for someone else. The client was demanding but fair, and he had promised a significant bonus if I finished on time. I worked 80-hour weeks for 2 months to make it happen. Jennifer barely saw me during that period, but she understood. "We both have to push right now," she said, "but it will pay off. Everything we are doing will pay off." I finished the job 3 days before the gala. The client walked through on Thursday afternoon, inspected everything, and handed me a check that was even larger than we had agreed upon. "You did exceptional work," he said. "Professional, efficient, ahead of schedule. If you ever start your own company, call me. I will send business your way." I called Jennifer immediately. "I got the bonus, plus extra. Jen, this is enough. This is enough to start the business." She screamed with joy. Actually screamed. "Nathan, oh my God, this is happening. Everything is finally happening for us." That night, we went out for dinner at a nice restaurant. Not the nicest in the city, but nicer than we usually went. We ordered wine, appetizers, dessert. We held hands across the table and talked about the future, about opening my business, about her career trajectory, about maybe, possibly starting to think about children in a year or 2 once things stabilized. "Can you imagine?" she said, her eyes bright. "A year from now, we could have our own house. You could have your business. We could be planning for a family. After everything we have been through, we could finally have the life we always wanted." "We already have it," I said. "As long as I have you, I have everything." She leaned over and kissed me. "Saturday is going to be perfect. Our perfect night. The start of everything." Friday afternoon, the day before the gala, I got a call from an unknown number. Normally I would not answer, but I was expecting potential client callbacks, so I picked up. "Hello, this is Nathan." "Nathan Mercer?" The voice was male, older, with an accent I could not quite place. "My name is William Castellano. I got your number from Gregory Warren. He said you did excellent electrical work for his office building." Gregory was the client who had just paid me. "Yes, that was me. What can I help you with?" "I have a situation. An emergency, actually. I'm hosting an event tomorrow evening, a private gallery opening at my home. We just discovered that half the lighting system has failed. The company we hired is out of town and cannot get here in time. Gregory said if anyone could fix it on short notice, it would be you. Is there any chance you could come take a look? I understand this is last minute. I hesitated. Tomorrow is Saturday. I actually have plans tomorrow night. An important event. I understand completely, and I apologize for the inconvenience, but I am willing to pay premium rates for emergency service. This gallery opening is crucial for me. We have collectors flying in from across the country. If the lighting is not right, the entire evening will be compromised. What time would you need me? Ideally, I would need you to start in the afternoon to ensure everything is functioning before guests arrive at 8. I know that is a significant imposition. My mind was racing. Jennifer's gala started at 7. If I worked in the afternoon, I could probably finish in time to shower, change, and get there. Maybe a little late, but not too late. And the money from an emergency call would be substantial. Money we could use for the business, for a down payment on a house. Can I call you back in a few minutes? I need to discuss this with my wife. Of course. But please, I do need to know relatively soon so I can make alternative arrangements if necessary. I hung up and immediately called Jennifer. She was in a meeting and could not talk, so I texted her. Emergency job offer for tomorrow afternoon. Could be big money, but would make me slightly late to gala. What do you think? She responded 20 minutes later. How late? Maybe an hour. I would still be there for most of it. Her response took longer this time. I need you there on time, Nathan. I need you there when I arrive. We talked about this. I need someone in my corner from the start, I know. But this could be really good money. And if it is William Castellano, that name sounds familiar. Let me see if I can get more details about timing. I called William back. Can you tell me more about the scope of the work? How many hours are we talking? Honestly, I will not know until you assess the situation. Could be a few hours, could be longer. The system is complex. Multiple zones, custom fixtures, computerized controls. It may be straightforward or it may require extensive troubleshooting. That was not what I wanted to hear. I have a commitment tomorrow evening at 7 that I absolutely cannot miss. If there is any chance the work could run past 5 or 6, I cannot take the job. I understand. Let me be frank with you, Nathan. I have been trying to find someone all day. Every qualified electrician is either booked or unavailable. You are my last hope. I am willing to make it worth your while. Name your rate for emergency weekend service. He named a figure that was 3 times my normal rate. My brain stuttered. That was as much as I made in 2 weeks, for one afternoon of work. That is very generous, I managed. This event is important to me. I have invested significantly in these pieces and in bringing the right people together to see them. If you can make this happen, you will have my gratitude and my future business. Gregory says, you are the best. Prove it. I felt the pull of temptation, that money, the potential for more high-end clients, the chance to make a connection with someone who clearly had resources and connections. But Jennifer's text message was still on my screen. I need you there on time. I appreciate the offer, I said slowly, but I cannot commit to something that might make me late for my wife's important event. I am sorry. I hope you can find someone else. There was a pause. What if I guaranteed you would be done by 6? I could have my assistant standing by to help with anything you need. Tools, materials, whatever. I will do everything in my power to expedite the process. 6 would give me an hour. Tight, but doable. I could shower at his place if necessary, change in the car. It would be rushed, but possible. And that money could accelerate every plan we had. If you can genuinely guarantee 6, I can make it work. You have my word. 6 at the absolute latest. I will make sure of it. I agreed. We arranged for me to arrive at 2 the next afternoon. He gave me an address in Bridgemont, the wealthy neighborhood on the north side of the city. When I looked up the address later, my stomach dropped. It was not just a house, it was an estate, a massive property that had been featured in architecture magazines. William Castellano was not just wealthy, he was extremely wealthy. I texted Jennifer. I took the job but made sure I would be done by 6 latest. That gives me plenty of time to get ready and be at the gala by 7. This could be really good for us. Her response was cold. You promised you would be there. We talked about how important this is, but I guess money matters more than supporting me. That hurt. It hurt because it was not true, and because I could feel the disappointment radiating through the screen. Jen, that is not fair. I am doing this for us, for our future. I will be there. I promise. Fine, just do not be late. I tried calling her, but she did not answer. I left a voicemail apologizing, explaining again that I would absolutely be there on time, that I understood how important it was. She did not call back. When I got home that evening, she was already in bed, pretending to be asleep. I knew she was pretending because her breathing was all wrong, tense instead of relaxed. But I did not push it. I figured we would talk in the morning, work it out. Saturday morning, she was up before me. When I came into the kitchen, She was drinking coffee and looking at her phone. "Morning," I said, trying to sound cheerful. "Want me to make breakfast?" "I already ate." "Jen, about yesterday. I am sorry I took the job without fully discussing it first, but I really do think this could be good for us, and I will be there tonight on time, I promise." She looked up at me, and her expression was hard. "Do you remember when I got the promotion, and I asked if you would come to the gala?" "Of course." "Do you remember what I said? About needing you in my corner?" "Yes, and I will be there." "No, Nathan, you will be there physically maybe, if everything goes perfectly, if this stranger's lighting problem gets solved quickly, if traffic cooperates, if nothing goes wrong. But you will be there, stressed and rushed and distracted. You will be thinking about the job, about whether you did it right, about impressing this rich client. You will not really be there, not the way I need you to be. That is not true. When I am there, I will be fully present. I will be focused on you and supporting you." She stood up and dumped the rest of her coffee in the sink. "I have to get my nails done and pick up some things. I will be back this afternoon." "What time? Does it matter?" "You will be gone." "Jen, please, do not be like this." She turned to face me, and I saw tears in her eyes. "Do you know what it feels like to spend 3 months planning for something, to have your husband promise to be there for you, and then watch him choose money over you?" "I am not choosing money over you. I am choosing money for us." "It does not feel like that. It feels like you are choosing the chance to impress some rich guy over the certainty of supporting me, and that hurts, Nathan. It really hurts." She left before I could respond. I stood in the kitchen feeling like I had been punched in the chest. She was right in some ways. I had prioritized this job, this opportunity, but she was wrong about the why. I was not trying to impress anyone. I was trying to build something for us. Every sacrifice I made was for us. I thought about all the times she had worked late, missed dinners, cancelled plans because of her job. I had supported her every single time, never complained, never made her feel guilty. I understood that building a career required sacrifices, required flexibility, required both of us being willing to adapt. Why could she not extend the same understanding to me? But even as I thought that, I knew it was not the same. She had not missed major events. She had not promised to be somewhere important and then backed out. She had been present for every moment that mattered to me. And now, the one time she needed me to be present for her, I was making excuses. I almost called William Castellano to cancel. My finger hovered over his number, but then I thought about the money, about how much difference it would make, about the doors it could open, about the future we could build. And I told myself I could do both. I could take the job and make it to the gala. I could support Jennifer and pursue this opportunity. I just had to be efficient, focused, perfect. I should have known better. I should have known that life does not care about your plans, that things never go as smoothly as you hope, that choosing between two things you care about always means losing something. I arrived at William Castellano's estate at 2 on the dot. The property was even more impressive in person. A long driveway wound through manicured grounds. The house itself was modern and sprawling, all glass and clean lines. A woman met me at the door, introducing herself as Caroline, William's assistant. She was professional and efficient, showing me to the gallery space where the lighting had failed. The room was stunning. High ceilings, white walls, track lighting designed to highlight the artwork, except half the lights were dead, leaving portions of the room in shadow. I set down my tools and started diagnostics. Within 20 minutes, I found the problem. The main control panel had a fried circuit board, likely due to a power surge. It was fixable, but it would take time. I would need to bypass certain connections, reroute power, essentially rebuild part of the control system. I called William to explain. He listened carefully, then said, "Whatever it takes, I trust you to find a solution." I got to work, focused, methodical, trying not to watch the clock, but I could not help seeing the time tick past. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I was making progress, but slower than I had hoped. The system was more complex than I had anticipated. Custom wiring that did not follow standard patterns, components that required careful handling. At 5, Caroline brought me water and a sandwich. "How is it going?" "Getting there. Another hour, maybe." Her expression tightened. "I thought you needed to leave by 6. "I do. I will. This is just taking longer than expected." At 5:30, I was still working. Sweat dripped down my back despite the cool air conditioning. My hands were steady, but my mind was racing. I was going to be late. No matter how fast I worked, I was going to be late. I should stop. I should tell William I could not finish. But I was so close. Maybe 30 more minutes and I would have it. I texted Jennifer, running a bit behind. "We'll be there as soon as possible. So sorry. Love you." She did not respond. At 6:15, I finally got the last connection secured. I turned on the system, holding my breath. The lights flickered, then came on. All of them. The room was transformed. Each piece of art perfectly illuminated. I had done it. Caroline appeared at my shoulder. It works. Oh, thank God it works. William will be so relieved. I was already packing my tools. I need to leave immediately. Can you tell Mr. Castellano I am sorry I could not wait to walk him through it, but everything should be functioning now. Of course. And Nathan? Thank you, truly. This would have been a disaster without you. I barely heard her. I was already moving toward the door, my mind on Jennifer, on the gala, on how late I was. It was 6:20. The event started at 7. It took 40 minutes to get across the city in normal traffic. On a Saturday evening, it could take an hour. I was not going to make it on time, but I could minimize how late I was. I could still be there for most of it. I got in my truck and drove faster than I should have, weaving through traffic, taking shortcuts, running yellow lights. My phone rang twice. Jennifer. I could not answer while driving. I would call her as soon as I got there. At 7:15, I pulled into the parking garage at the Grand View Hotel. My hands were shaking as I grabbed the garment bag with my tux. I ran to the bathroom near the lobby and changed as quickly as possible. My shirt was wrinkled. I had forgotten a tie. My hair was a mess from working and sweating all afternoon. I looked terrible, but there was no time to fix it. I had to get upstairs. The gala was on the 20th floor. I took the elevator up, my heart pounding. When the doors opened, I heard music, conversation, the clink of glasses. The event was already in full swing. I scanned the crowd for Jennifer. It took me 3 minutes to find her. She was standing near the bar talking to a group of people I did not recognize. She was smiling, laughing even, looking absolutely beautiful in that emerald dress. For a moment I thought maybe it was okay. Maybe I had not ruined everything. Then she saw me. Her smile disappeared. Her eyes went cold. She excused herself from the group and walked toward me. And I knew from her expression that nothing was okay. She did not say a word, just grabbed my arm and steered me toward a quiet corner near the windows. When we were out of earshot from everyone else, she turned to face me. "You are an hour late." "I know, I'm so sorry. The job took longer than expected. There were complications." "There are always complications, Nathan. That is why you should not have taken the job in the first place." "Jen, please, I'm here now. Let me be here for you." She laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "Be here for me. Look at you. You look like you just rolled out of bed. No tie, wrinkled shirt. You smell like sweat and electrical equipment. Everyone I work with is here looking perfect and professional, and my husband shows up looking like he does not care enough to make an effort." I did make an effort. I drove as fast as I could. I changed in the bathroom. I did everything I could to get here. Except prioritize me, except put me first, except keep the promise you made. I am here. I know I am late, but I am here. What else do you want from me? She stared at me for a long moment, and something in her expression broke. Not anger anymore. Worse than anger. Disappointment. Resignation. "I do not know what I want from you anymore, Nathan. I thought I knew. I thought we were building something together. But tonight showed me that when it really matters, when I really need you, you will choose something else. Someone else. That is not true. You are everything to me. Then why was not I enough? Why was being here on time, looking right, supporting me properly, why was that not enough to make you say no to this stranger and his lighting emergency?" I did not have an answer. Or rather, I had answers, but none of them were good enough. Because the truth was, I had chosen the job. I had chosen the money and the opportunity and the potential future over the certain present. And no matter how much I justified it to myself, no matter how much I believed I was doing it for us, the simple fact remained. When she needed me, I had not been there. Not fully, not the way she needed. We stood there in silence. Around us, the party continued. People laughing, networking, celebrating. Jennifer's colleagues probably wondering who I was and why she was standing in a corner with someone who looked so out of place. Her big night, the night she had prepared for and dreaded and needed me for, and I had turned it into something she would remember for all the wrong reasons. "I need to get back to networking," she said finally. Her voice was flat, emotionless. "You can stay if you want, or you can go home. I do not really care anymore." She walked away before I could respond. I watched her rejoin a group of executives, watched her paste on a smile, watched her become the professional, polished version of herself that the company expected. And I stood alone in the corner, feeling completely invisible, completely useless, completely aware that I had broken something precious. I stayed for an hour, trying to be supportive from a distance, trying to catch her eye, to show her I was there. But she never looked my way. She worked the room like a professional, charming client, impressing her bosses, making connections. She did not need me at all. Maybe she never had. Maybe I had told myself she needed me because it made me feel important. necessary. But the truth was, Jennifer was fully capable on her own. She always had been. At 9:30 I left. I texted her that I was going home, that I would see her later, that I loved her. She did not respond. I sat in my truck in the parking garage for a long time before driving home, trying to understand how everything had gone so wrong, trying to figure out if there was a way to fix it, coming up empty. When I got home, I changed out of the tux and sat on the couch in the dark. I kept checking my phone. No messages, no calls, just silence. Around midnight, I heard a key in the lock. Jennifer came in, still wearing the emerald dress. I stood up, ready to apologize again, ready to try to make it right, but she did not look at me. She walked straight to the bedroom and closed the door behind her. I slept on the couch that night, or tried to sleep. Mostly, I stared at the ceiling and replayed everything. Every choice, every moment, every mistake. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that the problem was not just tonight. The problem was a pattern of me prioritizing work over her, of telling myself I was doing it for us when really I was doing it for me, for my ego, for my sense of accomplishment, for the validation that came from being good at what I did. Jennifer had sacrificed for me over the years. She had worked terrible hours at that first waitressing job so I could afford my certification classes. She had taken on extra shifts when I had slow months. She had believed in me when I did not believe in myself. And what had I given her in return? Promises I did not keep. Support that was conditional and convenient. Love that was genuine but not prioritized. The next morning, I woke up to Jennifer standing over me. She was already dressed in casual clothes, her hair pulled back, no makeup. She looked exhausted. "We need to talk," she said. I sat up, my back aching from the couch. "Okay, let me make some coffee first." "No, now. I have been thinking all night, and I need to say this before I lose my nerve." My chest tightened. "Say what?" She sat down in the chair across from me, not close enough to touch. "I do not think this is working anymore. Us, this marriage. I do not think it is working." The words hit me like cold water. "What?" "Jen, no, please. I know I messed up last night, but we can fix this. I can do better. It is not just last night. It is everything. The pattern. You say you will be there, but you are not really there. You say I am your priority, but your actions say otherwise. I have spent 7 years telling myself that things will get better when we are more stable, when we have more money, when work calms down, but it never does. There is always another job, another opportunity, another reason why something else matters more than being present with me. That is not true. You matter more than anything. Then why do not I feel that way? Why do I feel like I am constantly competing with your work for your attention? Why does every important moment get overshadowed by something else? I did not have an answer, or I had too many answers that all added up to the same thing. She was right. We sat in silence. The morning light filtered through the windows, harsh and unforgiving. Outside I could hear the neighbors starting their day, unaware that in this apartment, everything was falling apart. Finally, Jennifer spoke again. "I think we need some time apart. I'm going to stay with my friend Michelle for a while, just to think, to figure out what I want. How long? I do not know. A week, maybe longer. I just need space to clear my head. Can I call you? Can we talk while you are there?" She hesitated. "I need you to really think about what you want, Nathan. Not what you think you should want, not what sounds good in theory, but what you actually want, because I cannot keep being with someone who says they love me but does not show it when it matters." She left an hour later, packed a bag, kissed me briefly on the cheek, and walked out. I stood at the window and watched her car pull away, feeling like my entire world was crumbling. That afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost did not answer, but something made me pick up. "Hello? Nathan? This is William Castellano. I wanted to thank you personally for yesterday. The gallery opening was a tremendous success, and that was only possible because of your exceptional work." I could barely focus on his words. "I am glad it worked out. I also wanted to apologize. Caroline told me you had an important event to attend and that you ended up staying later than planned to finish the job. I hope that did not cause too many problems." Too many problems. That was one way to put it. "It is fine," I lied. "Well, regardless, I am impressed with your professionalism and skill. I have several friends who own properties and businesses that could use someone like you. I would like to send clients your way if you are interested." "Sure, that would be great. Thank you. Also, I overpaid you. When I saw how extensive the work was and how perfectly you executed it, I felt the agreed-upon rate was insufficient. Check your account. You should see a deposit for double what we discussed." I pulled the phone away from my ear and checked my banking app. He was right. The deposit was twice what he had promised. Enough money to fully fund my business launch with capital to spare. It was everything I had been working toward. everything I had sacrificed for, and it felt completely hollow. "Thank you," I said. "That is very generous. You earned it. I will be in touch soon with those referrals. Take care, Nathan." He hung up. I stared at the phone, at the number on my screen showing more money than I had ever had at one time. Money that would change my life. Money that had cost me my marriage. I spent the rest of Sunday in a daze, cleaning the apartment, trying to work on business plans, checking my phone constantly for messages that did not come. Jennifer had said she needed space, and I was trying to give it to her, but it felt wrong, like I should be fighting harder, like I should be showing her right now, immediately, that I understood what I had done wrong and could change. But maybe she was right that I needed to think, really think, not just about what I wanted, but about who I was and who I needed to become. Monday morning, I woke up to someone knocking on my door, loud, persistent knocking. I threw on a shirt and stumbled to the door, still half asleep. When I opened it, I froze. William Castellano stood in the hallway, tall, probably in his 60s, with silver hair and expensive clothes. He smiled when he saw me. "Nathan, I apologize for the early visit. May I come in?" I was too shocked to do anything but step aside and let him enter. He walked into my modest apartment, looking around with what seemed like genuine interest. "Nice place, good light. What are you doing here? How did you even find my address?" He turned to face me. "I asked Caroline to locate you. I needed to speak with you in person, and I felt this could not wait." "Speak to me about what?" He sat down on my couch without being invited, completely at ease. "I want to offer you a job, not a contract job, a permanent position. I am launching a new venture, a property development company focused on sustainable luxury homes. I need someone to head up all the electrical and technical systems, someone I can trust to do exceptional work without constant supervision. I think you are that person." I blinked, trying to process this. "You came to my apartment at 7 in the morning to offer me a job. I came to your apartment at 7 in the morning to offer you a career, a future. I am talking about a 6-figure salary, benefits, creative control over your department. You would be building something from the ground up, exactly what you told Caroline you wanted to do when you were working on Saturday." I had mentioned wanting to start my own business. I barely remembered. I had been so focused on the work, on getting done, on getting to Jennifer. "I appreciate the offer, but I am not looking for a job. I am starting my own company." "With what?" "The money I paid you. That will get you started, sure. But you will be scrambling for clients, working insane hours, dealing with all the administrative headaches of running a business. What I am offering is the creative satisfaction of building something significant without the financial risk. You would have stability, security, time. That word hit differently now. Time I could have spent with Jennifer instead of chasing the next opportunity. But still, "I do not understand why you are here, why you are offering this. You do not even know me. I know your work. I know you kept your word, even when it cost you personally. Caroline mentioned you had somewhere important to be, and yet you stayed until the job was done right. That tells me everything I need to know about your character." "My character," I repeated. The word felt bitter. My character was why my marriage was falling apart. My character prioritized work over the person I loved most. "Mr. Castellano, I need to be honest with you. I appreciate this offer, but I am not in a place to make major career decisions right now. My life is complicated." He studied me for a moment. "The important event you missed on Saturday, what was it?" "My wife's work gala. She is a regional director, and it was a big deal for her career. She needed me there on time, and I was late, really late. And now she is." I trailed off. I did not know why I was telling him this. He was a stranger, but maybe that was why. Sometimes it is easier to be honest with strangers. "She is reconsidering the marriage," he finished. "Yes." William nodded slowly. "I understand, and I am partly responsible for that, which is another reason I am here, to tell you that your wife was right." I stared at him. "What?" "She was right to be upset, right to feel like you prioritized money over her, because you did. I dangled a large payment and future connections in front of you, and you took it even though you knew it would hurt her. That was my fault for offering and your fault for accepting. You are telling me I made the wrong choice? I'm telling you that choices have consequences. You chose money and opportunity. You got both. Now you have to decide if that is enough, if that is what you actually want your life to be about." I felt anger flare. "You do not know anything about me or my life. You do not get to come into my home and judge my choices." "You are right. I do not. But I see myself in you, Nathan. 30 years ago, I was you, working constantly, chasing success, telling myself I was doing it for my family when really I was doing it for myself, for the validation, for the feeling of accomplishment. And do you know what happened?" I did not answer. I built an empire, multiple businesses, more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes, and I did it alone. My wife left me after 15 years. My children barely speak to me. I have everything and nothing. So when I see a young man making the same mistakes I made, I feel obligated to say something. Then why are you offering me a job? Why are you encouraging me to keep prioritizing work? I am not. The job offer is there if you want it. But what I actually came here to tell you is this. The money does not matter. The success does not matter. The career does not matter. What matters are the people who love you and whom you love. Everything else is just noise. And if you are smart, if you are braver than I was, you will figure that out now instead of 30 years from now when it is too late. He stood up, preparing to leave. Think about what I said, about the job and about your priorities. You have my number. Call me if you want to talk. He walked to the door, then turned back. One more thing. On Saturday, when you were working, Caroline told me you kept checking your phone, looking stressed. She said you were texting someone. I assume that was your wife. Yes. What were you saying to her? I was apologizing, explaining, promising I would be there soon. But you were not really there, not mentally. You were focused on the work, on doing it right, on impressing me. You were physically present but emotionally absent. That is worse than not showing up at all, because it tells the other person that even when you are there, you are not really there. And that is the loneliest feeling in the world. He left. I stood in my empty apartment, his words echoing in my head. You were physically present but emotionally absent. That was exactly what Jennifer had said, that I would not really be there even if I showed up. And she had been right. Even as I was rushing to get to her, part of my mind was still on the job, on whether I had done everything correctly, on whether William would be satisfied, on whether this would lead to more opportunities. I was never fully present, not when it mattered. I thought about the past 7 years, all the times Jennifer had needed me and I had been distracted, working on my laptop during dinner, checking emails during conversations, missing small moments because I was focused on the big picture. She had put up with it because she loved me and because she understood the necessity of building a career, but there was a difference between understanding necessity and accepting being perpetually second place. I sat down and made a list. Not of business plans or client prospects, a list of every time I had chosen work over Jennifer, every missed dinner, every shortened date because I got a call, every time I said I was listening but was actually thinking about something else. The list was long, painfully long. Then I made another list. Every time she had sacrificed for me, every early morning shift she worked so I could sleep before a big job, every time she covered rent when I was short, every word of encouragement when I doubted myself, every plan she changed to accommodate my schedule. That list was even longer. The imbalance was staggering. I had taken so much and given so little, and I had told myself it was okay because I was working toward our future. But what future? One where I had money and success and no one to share it with? I picked up my phone and called Jennifer. It went to voicemail. Jen, it is me. I know you need space, and I am trying to respect that. But I need you to know something. William Castellano came to my apartment this morning. He offered me a job, a really good job, and I realized something. I do not want it. I do not want any of it. Not if it means losing you. Not if it means being the person who prioritizes opportunities over the people I love. I paused, trying to find the right words. I was wrong. About Saturday. About so many things. You were right that I chose money over you. You were right that I was not really present. You were right about all of it. And I am sorry. I am so sorry. I do not know if you can forgive me. I do not know if I deserve forgiveness. But I need you to know that I understand now. I understand what I did, and I understand what I need to change. I hung up. She did not call back. The next 3 days were the longest of my life. I went through the motions, ate food I did not taste, slept in short, restless bursts, checked my phone obsessively for messages that never came. The apartment felt enormous and suffocating at the same time, full of reminders of Jennifer everywhere I looked, her coffee mug in the cabinet, her jacket still hanging by the door, the photo of us on our wedding day on the bookshelf, both of us young and hopeful and completely unaware of how hard things would get. I tried to work on business plans but could not focus. The words blurred together. Numbers made no sense. Every time I opened my laptop, I found myself staring at the screen without seeing anything, my mind replaying that conversation with William. The money does not matter. The success does not matter. What matters are the people who love you. On Tuesday afternoon, I got a text from David, one of Jennifer's colleagues I had met a few times. Heard what happened at the gala. Jen is really struggling, man. Just wanted you to know. I called him immediately. How bad is it? He hesitated. Pretty bad. She was crying at work yesterday. Locked herself in her office for an hour. People are starting to notice. My chest tightened. Did she say anything? About us? About what she wants? Just that she does not know if she can trust you anymore. That she gave you one thing, one important thing, and you could not follow through. Nathan, I do not know you well, but I know Jen. She loves you, but she is also tired. Tired of feeling like she comes second. I know I messed up. Then fix it. Do not just say you are sorry. Show her. Do something that proves you actually heard her. After I hung up, I sat with his words. Show her. Do not just say it, show it. But how? What action could possibly demonstrate that I understood what I had done wrong? What gesture would be big enough to match the hurt I had caused? I thought about grand romantic gestures I had seen in movies, showing up at her friend's apartment with flowers, hiring a skywriter, some big public declaration of love. But all of that felt hollow, performative, the kind of thing someone does to look good, not because they have actually changed. What Jennifer needed was not a gesture. She needed evidence. Evidence that my priorities had genuinely shifted. Evidence that I could be trusted. Evidence that when I said she mattered most, I meant it. On Wednesday morning, I made a decision. I called William Castellano. He answered on the second ring. Nathan, have you thought about my offer? I have. And I need to decline. Not just the job offer, but any future work. I appreciate everything you have done for me, truly, but I need to focus on my marriage right now. I need to show my wife that she is my priority, and I cannot do that if I am pursuing opportunities that pull me away from her. There was a pause. I respect that decision, but you realize you are turning down a significant opportunity. I do. And I would be lying if I said it was easy. But I have spent 7 years chasing opportunities. I have spent 7 years telling myself that the next job, the next client, the next achievement would be the thing that made everything better. And all it did was push away the person who matters most. So I am done. I am choosing her. Good, William said, and I could hear the smile in his voice. That is the right choice, the hard choice, but the right one. And for what it is worth, I am proud of you. It takes courage to turn away from success. It does not feel like courage, it feels terrifying. That is how you know it is real. Keep me updated on how things go. And Nathan, if you ever need anything, call me. Not work, just support. Sometimes we all need someone in our corner who has made the same mistakes. Thank you, that means more than you know. After I hung up, I felt lighter somehow, like I had cut a rope that had been pulling me in the wrong direction. The fear was still there, the uncertainty about whether Jennifer would forgive me, but underneath it was something else. Clarity. For the first time in years, maybe ever, I was absolutely certain about what I wanted. Not success, not money, not validation from strangers. Just her, just us. Just the chance to build a life where we both felt valued and present and enough. Next, I called the 3 potential clients William had referred to me earlier in the week. I politely declined their projects, explaining that I was taking time away from work to focus on personal matters. They were understanding, wished me luck. Hanging up after each call felt like releasing weight, like choosing freedom over obligation. Then I did something I had been avoiding for years. I called my mum. We spoke once a month or so, brief check-ins where I updated her on work and assured her I was fine. But we did not really talk. We did not go deep, because going deep meant acknowledging things I preferred to avoid. Nathan, she answered, surprised. I usually called on Sundays. Is everything okay? No, Mom. Everything is not okay. Can we talk? Really talk? Of course, sweetheart. What is going on? I told her everything. The gala, the job, William's visit, Jennifer leaving. My realization that I had been recreating the same patterns I watched my father live before he left, working constantly, telling himself he was doing it for the family, never actually being present, never actually connecting, using work as an excuse to avoid the vulnerability of real intimacy. I am becoming him, I said, my voice breaking. I am becoming Dad, and I am terrified that I have already lost Jennifer the same way he lost you. My mum was quiet for a long time. When she spoke, her voice was thick with emotion. You are not your father, Nathan. Your father never had this conversation. He never questioned his choices. He never felt bad about missing things. You are having this realization now while you still have a chance to change. That is the difference. But what if it is too late? What if she cannot forgive me? Then you accept that consequence and learn from it. But I do not think it is too late. Jennifer loves you. I saw it at your wedding. I see it every time she looks at you. Love does not just disappear because of one mistake, but it does need to be fed. It needs attention and presence and proof that it matters. How do I give her that proof? You already know, honey. You stop chasing work. You stop making excuses. You show up fully, not just physically but emotionally. You be the partner she deserves. I do not know if I know how to do that. Then learn. You learned how to be an electrician. You learned how to run a business. You can learn how to be present. It just takes practice and intention. We talked for 2 more hours. Really talked. About her marriage to my dad. About the warning signs she ignored. About how she wished she had demanded more from him instead of just accepting his absence as normal. About her regrets and her lessons and her hope that I would do better than he did. I am proud of you for trying, she said before we hung up. Trying is more than a lot of people do. Keep trying. Keep showing up. Keep choosing love. Thursday morning, I woke up with a plan. Not a perfect plan, but a real one. A plan based on action instead of words. I got dressed, grabbed my keys, and drove to Clearwater Media, Jennifer's office building. I did not go inside. I just sat in the parking lot and waited. At 5:30, people started leaving. At 6:15, I saw her. She walked out with 2 colleagues, laughing at something one of them said. She looked tired but beautiful, still wearing her work clothes, still being professional Jennifer, even though I knew she was hurting inside. I got out of my truck and walked toward her. She saw me before I reached her. Her expression shifted from surprise to wariness. She said something to her colleagues, and they continued to their cars, leaving us alone in the parking lot. "What are you doing here, Nathan? I needed to see you, to talk to you. I know you asked for space, and I have tried to give you that, but I have realized some things this week, and I need to tell you about them. Not to pressure you, not to make you decide anything, just to tell you." She crossed her arms, defensive. "Okay, I am listening." I turned down William Castellano's job offer, and I declined 3 other potential clients he referred to me. I am not taking any new work right now. I am taking time to figure out what I actually want my life to look like. Nathan, you do not have to do that. I never asked you to stop working. I know, but I realized something. I have been using work as a shield, as a way to avoid being vulnerable, as a way to feel valuable without having to risk real intimacy, because work is predictable. Work has rules. You do the job, you get paid. Simple. But relationships are not simple. They require presence and attention and the willingness to prioritize someone else's needs even when it is inconvenient. And I have not been doing that. I have been choosing work over you repeatedly because it was easier, because it made me feel important. But you were right. You have always been right. I was physically present but emotionally absent. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. You listened to what I said. You actually heard me. I did. And I'm sorry it took me this long. I'm sorry I had to lose you to understand what I was doing wrong, but I understand now, and I want to change. I want to be the partner you deserve, the one who shows up, the one who prioritizes you, the one who is actually present. Nathan, changing is not easy. Patterns are hard to break. What happens when another opportunity comes up? What happens when someone offers you money or connections or the chance to prove yourself? How do I know you will not choose that again? It was a fair question, the most important question. You do not know. I do not have a track record of choosing you. I have a track record of choosing work. So I understand why you would doubt me. All I can tell you is that I am committed to building a different track record, to making different choices, to proving through actions, not words, that you matter most. She wiped her eyes. I do not know if I can trust that. I want to, but I am scared. Scared of believing you and then being disappointed again. That hurt, Nathan. Saturday hurt so much. Standing there in that room, watching you show up late and disheveled, knowing that a stranger's lighting problem mattered more to you than I did, that hurt in a way I cannot just get over. I know. And I do not expect you to get over it. I do not expect you to forgive me right now. I just want the chance to show you that I have changed, to prove over time that my priorities have shifted, even if that takes months, even if it takes years. I am willing to do the work. We stood there in the parking lot as the sun set behind the office building, painting the sky orange and pink. Other employees walked past us to their cars, living their normal lives while ours hung in the balance. Finally, Jennifer spoke. I do not know what to say. Part of me wants to believe you, wants to give you another chance, but part of me is exhausted. Exhausted from years of feeling like I have to compete for your attention. I should not have to beg my husband to show up for me. You are right, you should not, and I am going to make sure you never have to again. How? How are you going to make sure? What is actually different now besides you saying it is different? I took a breath. I am going to start therapy. Individual therapy to work on why I use work as a shield, and I want us to do couples therapy together if you are willing. I want professional help to learn how to be present, how to communicate better, how to build a relationship where we both feel valued. Her expression softened slightly. You would do therapy? I would do anything. Whatever it takes. I am not saying I can fix this overnight. I am not saying one conversation solves years of patterns. But I am saying I am committed to doing the work. Real, hard, uncomfortable work. Because losing you is not an option. Living without you is not something I can accept. Nathan, you might not have a choice. I might decide that this is too broken to fix, that I need to move on. Then I will accept that decision and respect it. But I am going to fight for us first. I am going to show you that I can change. And if you still decide to leave, at least I will know I tried everything. At least I will know I finally showed up. She was crying fully now, tears running down her face. Why did it take losing me for you to figure this out? Why could not you have realized it before? Because I am an idiot. Because I took you for granted. Because I thought you would always be there no matter what I did. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Jennifer wiped her face with her sleeve. I need more time. I need to think about whether I can do this. Whether I have the energy to watch you try to change and risk being disappointed again. It is not just about forgiveness. It is about whether I can trust you with my heart again after you broke it. I understand. Take all the time you need. I am not going anywhere. Whenever you are ready to talk, I will be here, fully present. She nodded and walked to her car. I watched her drive away, feeling both hope and fear tangled together in my chest. I had said what I needed to say. I had made promises. Now I had to follow through. Now I had to prove that words meant nothing without action. Friday morning I started calling therapists. The first 3 were booked for weeks. The 4th had an opening the following Tuesday. I took it immediately. Then I researched couples therapists who specialized in rebuilding trust and communication. I made a list of 5 options with their contact information and fees. When Jennifer was ready, we could choose one together. I also made a schedule, a deliberate written schedule that prioritized my marriage over everything else. Morning routine that included meditation and journaling to practice being present. Exercise to manage stress in healthy ways instead of losing myself in work. Dedicated time each evening for relationship building, even if Jennifer was not home yet. Reading books about emotional intelligence, about partnership, about how to be a better spouse. I was treating saving my marriage like a full-time job. Because it was. Because it should have been all along. That weekend, I deep cleaned the apartment. Not just surface cleaning, deep cleaning. Organized closets. Threw out things we did not need. Created space that felt fresh and new. Symbolic maybe, but symbols mattered. I was cleaning out old patterns and making room for new ones. I also wrote Jennifer a letter, not an email or a text, an actual handwritten letter on real paper. I told her everything I had been thinking, everything I had realized, every way I had failed her, and every commitment I was making to do better. I told her about calling my mom, about turning down work, about starting therapy, about the schedule I had created, about how deeply I loved her, and how sorry I was for making her feel like she came second. I told her she deserved a partner who celebrated her successes instead of overshadowing them, who showed up on time and fully present, who made her feel valued every single day, and I promised to become that partner. I sealed the letter in an envelope and drove to Michelle's apartment, where Jennifer was staying. I did not knock. I did not want to pressure her. I just slipped the letter under the door and left. Monday afternoon, my phone rang. Jennifer. My heart hammered as I answered. Hello? I got your letter. And it made me cry. Happy tears and sad tears all mixed together. Nathan, I can see you are trying. I can see you are taking this seriously, but I am still scared. I know I am scared too. Can we meet? Talk in person? I am not ready to come home yet, but I think we should talk. Yes, absolutely. When and where? Tomorrow evening. That coffee shop we went to on our first study date, 6 o'clock. I will be there. She hung up. I sat down and let myself feel the hope. Real, cautious, fragile hope. She was willing to talk. She had not given up on us completely. That was something. That was everything. Tuesday, I went to my first therapy appointment. The therapist, Dr. Sarah Chen, was in her 50s, calm and direct. She asked me to tell her why I was there, and I told her everything. The gala, the pattern of prioritizing work, my father's abandonment, my fear of vulnerability, my desperate need to fix my marriage. She listened without judgment, taking notes occasionally. When I finished, she said, "What you are describing is a common pattern, using achievement and productivity as a way to avoid emotional intimacy. It feels safer to focus on work because work has clear metrics of success. You complete a job, you get paid, you feel valuable. But emotional intimacy is messier. It requires vulnerability. It requires showing up even when you do not have all the answers. That is terrifying for people who like control. So how do I fix it? You do not fix it overnight. You slowly build new patterns. You practice being present. You learn to sit with uncomfortable emotions instead of distracting yourself with tasks. You develop emotional awareness and communication skills. It takes time and repetition, but it is possible. We spent the rest of the session discussing strategies, mindfulness practices, communication exercises, ways to recognize when I was using work as an avoidance tactic. She gave me homework, specific things to practice each day. I left feeling like I had a roadmap, not a guarantee, but a direction. That evening, I arrived at the coffee shop 15 minutes early. I ordered 2 lattes, remembering exactly how Jennifer liked hers. I sat at the same table where we had studied economics all those years ago, back when we were young and broke and naive about how hard things would get. At exactly 6 o'clock, Jennifer walked in. She looked beautiful but tired, wearing jeans and a sweater instead of her usual work clothes. She sat down across from me and wrapped her hands around the latte I offered her. "Thank you for this, and for being on time. I will always be on time from now on. That is a promise." She smiled sadly. "Do not make promises you cannot keep, Nathan. Life happens. Emergencies happen. What I need is not perfection. I need effort. I need you to genuinely try. Then that is what you will get. Genuine effort. Every single day." We sat in silence for a moment, both of us uncertain how to start. Finally, Jennifer spoke. "I have been thinking a lot about us, about our history, about how we got here, and I realized something. I have enabled your patterns. I have accepted being second place for so long that you started to believe it was okay. I never set clear boundaries. I never demanded more. I just kept accommodating and hoping things would change on their own. Jen, you are not responsible for my choices. I am an adult. I should have been able to figure out how to prioritize you without you having to demand it. Maybe, but relationships are systems. We both contributed to this dynamic. I let you off the hook too easily because I did not want to be the nagging wife. I did not want to seem needy or demanding, so I swallowed my hurt and pretended everything was fine. That was not fair to either of us. So, what do we do now? How do we break the pattern? We both have to change. You have to learn to be more present. I have to learn to communicate my needs more clearly. We have to build something new instead of trying to go back to how things were. I want that. I want to build something better. Jennifer took a sip of her latte. "Tell me about therapy. How was your first session?" I told her about Dr. Chen, about the homework she gave me, about the strategies we discussed. Jennifer listened, and I could see something shift in her expression. Not full trust, but something softer. Recognition, maybe. Acknowledgement that I was serious. "I found some couples therapists too," I said. "If you are willing, we could start sessions together. Work on communication and rebuilding trust with professional guidance. I think that is a good idea. Can you send me the list? I will look through them and we can choose together." Of course. We talked for 2 hours. Really talked. About our fears and our hopes and what we each needed from the relationship. About boundaries and expectations and how to support each other better. About the ways we had both failed and the ways we wanted to grow. It was not easy. There were tears and uncomfortable truths, but it felt real. More real than any conversation we had had in years. As we were leaving, Jennifer touched my arm. "Nathan, I want to believe in us again. I want to believe that we can fix this. But you need to know that I am protecting myself now. I am not going to just accept your promises and hope for the best. I am going to watch your actions. And if your actions do not match your words, I am going to leave. I love you, but I love myself more. And I will not spend my life feeling like I am not enough. You are enough. You have always been enough. More than enough. And I am going to prove that to you." She nodded and walked to her car. I stood in the parking lot and watched her leave, feeling something I had not felt since Saturday night. Hope. Real, tangible hope that maybe we could save this. Maybe we could build something better than what we had before. The next 3 weeks were the hardest and most rewarding of my life. I went to therapy twice a week. I did my homework assignments religiously. I practiced meditation and mindfulness, learning to sit with discomfort instead of reaching for distractions. I read books about emotional intelligence and vulnerability. I journaled every evening, processing my thoughts and feelings instead of stuffing them down. Jennifer and I met twice a week for coffee or dinner. We started couples therapy with Dr. Patricia Moore, a therapist who specialized in rebuilding relationships after betrayal and broken trust. The sessions were intense. We talked about patterns and wounds and expectations. We did exercises to improve communication. We practiced being vulnerable with each other in ways we had never been before. It was not linear progress. There were setbacks, moments when Jennifer pulled back, scared to trust me, moments when I felt overwhelmed by the work required, but we kept showing up, we kept trying, and slowly, incrementally, things started to shift. I learned that being present was not about grand gestures. It was about small, consistent choices, putting my phone away during conversations, asking about her day and really listening to the answer, noticing when she was stressed and offering support without being asked, remembering important dates and showing up on time, making her feel seen and valued in mundane, everyday ways. Jennifer learned to communicate her needs more directly, to tell me when she felt neglected instead of waiting until resentment built up, to set boundaries and expect me to respect them, to be vulnerable about her fears instead of hiding them behind competence and independence. 4 weeks after the gala, William Castellano called me. "Nathan, I have been thinking about you. How are things going with your wife?" "Better, slowly better. We are doing therapy, working on things. It is hard, but good." "I am glad to hear that. Listen, I wanted to tell you something. That night at my gallery opening, the one you worked so hard to make successful, I sold 3 pieces of art for significant amounts. One of the buyers was someone who saw your work on the lighting system. He was impressed by the technical sophistication. He has been looking for someone to design the electrical systems for a museum he is building, and I gave him your name." My stomach tightened. "William, I appreciate that, but I told you I am not taking new work right now." "I know, which is why I told him you would not be available for at least 6 months. But I wanted you to know the opportunity exists. When you are ready, when your marriage is stable, when you have done the internal work you need to do, there will be work waiting for you, good work, the kind that challenges you creatively without consuming your life. You do not have to choose between having a career and having a marriage. You just have to learn to balance them." "Thank you. That means a lot. How is the money situation? I know turning down work must be creating financial stress." "It is tight, but we have savings. We will be okay." "Good. And Nathan, I am proud of you. You made the hard choice, the right choice. Not everyone has that courage." After we hung up, I told Jennifer about the conversation. We were at our apartment having dinner together for the first time since she moved out. She had agreed to come over, a tentative step toward possibly moving back home. "How do you feel about that?" she asked. "About the museum project. 6 months ago I would have been excited. I would have been thinking about the prestige and the money and the opportunities it could lead to, but now I just feel cautious. Cautious about letting work become all-consuming again. Cautious about falling back into old patterns. But you also love your work. You are good at it. I do not want you to give that up completely. I just want you to keep it in perspective. To remember that work serves our life, not the other way around. That is what Dr. Chen said too, that the goal is not to stop working. It is to work in a way that supports my life instead of consuming it." Jennifer reached across the table and took my hand. "I think you can do that. I think we can figure out how to both have careers and have a strong marriage, but it requires constant communication, constant checking in, constant choosing each other. I am willing to do that, for as long as it takes." She squeezed my hand. "I think I am ready to come home, not because everything is fixed, but because I believe you are serious about changing, and I want to work on us together instead of separately." I felt tears prick my eyes. "Really? You want to come home?" "I want to try, with boundaries, with clear expectations, with the understanding that this is a new start, not going back to how things were." "Yes, absolutely yes, whatever you need." That weekend, Jennifer moved back in. We spent Saturday rearranging furniture, making the space feel fresh and new, like we were starting over, instead of returning to something broken. Sunday, we went for a long walk in the park, talking about our goals and our fears and our hopes for the future. "I have been thinking about the gala," Jennifer said as we walked, "about why it hurt so much, and I realized it was not just about you being late. It was about feeling like I did not matter, like my achievements were not worth celebrating, like I was alone in a room full of people, and the one person I needed in my corner chose not to be there. I am so sorry. You deserve to be celebrated. You deserve to have someone there who was proud of you and excited for you. I failed you. You did. But you are also here now, doing the work, showing up. That matters too. People make mistakes, Nathan. What defines us is how we respond to those mistakes. Do you think we can really move past this, or will it always be between us? I think we can move past it if we keep communicating, if we keep being honest, if we keep choosing each other. It will take time. Trust is rebuilt slowly, but I believe we can do it. 2 months after the gala, Jennifer had another work event. Nothing as significant as the gala, just a team dinner with her department, but it was still important. It was still an opportunity to show her colleagues who she was outside of work, to build relationships, to be seen as a whole person. She asked if I wanted to come. You do not have to, she said. I know these work things are not your favorite, but I would like it if you came, if you met my team properly and supported me. I will be there. What time should I be ready? 7. It is at that Italian place downtown. On the night of the dinner, I was ready at 6:30, dressed nicely, hair combed, actually excited to meet the people Jennifer worked with and to show them that she had a partner who valued her. We drove together, holding hands in the car, talking about her day and her projects and the funny thing one of her team members had said. At the restaurant, her colleagues greeted us warmly. They had heard about me, Jennifer said, heard that I was an electrician starting my own business. They asked questions, seemed genuinely interested. I asked them about their work, their lives, their interests. I was present, fully, completely present, not thinking about anything except being there for Jennifer and supporting her. At one point, one of her colleagues, a woman named Ashley, pulled Jennifer aside. I saw them talking, saw Ashley glance at me and smile. Later, Jennifer told me what Ashley had said. Your husband seems great, really engaged, really proud of you. You are lucky. Jennifer had responded, I know. I almost forgot how lucky, but I am remembering now. That night, as we were getting ready for bed, Jennifer wrapped her arms around me. Thank you for tonight, for being there, for being present, for showing my team that I have a partner who values me. That is who I want to be, every single day, not just at special events, every day. You are becoming that person. I can see it, I can feel it, and it makes me fall in love with you all over again. We stood there in our bedroom, holding each other, and I felt something I had not felt in years. Peace. Deep, genuine peace. Not because everything was perfect, but because we were choosing each other, because we were doing the work, because we were building something real and strong and honest. 3 months after the gala, William Castellano invited us to dinner, both of us, at his estate. I want to meet the woman who changed you, he said when he called, and I want to apologize to her for my role in that terrible night. Jennifer was nervous about going. Meeting the man who had been the catalyst for our near breakup felt strange, but I thought it might bring closure, so we agreed. William's estate was just as impressive in the evening as it had been that Saturday afternoon. He greeted us at the door, warm and gracious. Jennifer, I am so pleased to meet you. Nathan has told me wonderful things. We sat in his dining room, a beautiful space with artwork on the walls and fresh flowers on the table. Over an excellent meal prepared by his private chef, William told his story, about his failed marriage, about his estranged children, about the loneliness of success without connection, about how seeing me make the same mistakes he had made compelled him to say something. I should have said no to Nathan that Friday, William admitted. I should have recognized that his family commitment was more important than my gallery opening, but I was selfish. I was desperate, and I am truly sorry for that. Jennifer looked at him for a long moment. I appreciate you saying that, but Nathan made his own choice. You did not force him to take the job. He chose money over me, and he has to own that. You are right, absolutely right, but I am glad he learned from it. Most people do not. Most people keep making the same mistakes until there is nothing left to lose. What changed for you? I asked. You said you were like me 30 years ago. What made you realize you needed to change? William's expression grew sad. My wife left me. My children stopped speaking to me. I had everything I thought I wanted and no one to share it with. I woke up one morning in this big, empty house and realized I had built a prison, a beautiful, expensive prison, but a prison nonetheless. Did you try to win them back? I did, but it was too late. Too much damage, too many years of neglect. They had moved on, built lives without me, and I do not blame them. They asked me to change for years, and I refused. So when I finally was ready, they were not interested anymore. Jennifer reached across the table and squeezed my hand. We are not going to let that happen to us. We are changing now, while we still have time. William smiled. Good. That is very good. And Nathan, I meant what I said about that museum project. 6 months from now, when you are ready, the opportunity will be there. But take the time you need. Build your marriage first. The work will always be there. The people you love might not be. On the drive home, Jennifer was quiet. Finally, she said, I feel bad for him, having everything and nothing. Me too, but I am grateful to him. If he had not shown up at our apartment and said those things, I might not have understood how serious this was. I might have kept making excuses and lost you. You almost did lose me. I know, and I never want to come that close again. She looked at me. You will not. I believe that now. You have shown me through months of consistent action that you have changed, that I matter, that we matter. I trust you again, Nathan. Not blindly, not naively, but genuinely, and that feels like a gift. 6 months after the gala, I accepted the museum project, but I did it differently this time. I set clear boundaries. No weekend work, unless absolutely necessary. No late nights, unless Jennifer knew about it in advance and agreed. Regular check-ins to make sure I was staying balanced. And most importantly, I hired help. 2 junior electricians who could handle routine tasks while I focused on design and management. I did not have to do everything myself. I could delegate. I could build a team. I could work smart instead of just working hard. The project was challenging and rewarding. I got to design lighting systems for a beautiful space that would serve the public for decades. I got to use my skills and creativity. But I also got to come home at reasonable hours, got to have dinner with my wife most nights, got to be present for her life and our relationship. The work served my life. It did not consume it. Jennifer thrived at Clearwater. She got promoted again, this time to Vice President of Marketing. It came with more responsibility but also more flexibility. She had proved herself, earned respect and autonomy. She could set her own schedule, work from home when needed, prioritize her life outside the office. We both learned that success did not require sacrifice of everything else. It just required intention, clear priorities, the courage to set boundaries. 1 year after the gala, we went back to the Grandview Hotel. Not for a work event, just for us. We dressed up, had dinner in the same ballroom where the gala had been held, danced to live music, celebrated not an achievement but a journey, the journey of almost losing each other and choosing to fight instead, the journey of breaking old patterns and building new ones, the journey of learning that love requires action, not just feeling. As we danced, Jennifer said, "Do you remember last year standing in this room while I told you I would never forgive you? I remember every word. It felt like the end of everything, but it was not the end. It was a beginning, a painful, necessary beginning. If you had not ruined that night, we might have kept pretending everything was fine. We might have slowly drifted apart without ever addressing the real problems. In a weird way, that awful night saved us. I am glad something good came from it, but I never want to hurt you like that again. You will hurt me again, I will hurt you. That is what happens in long relationships. The difference now is that we know how to repair, how to communicate, how to choose each other even when it is hard. I will always choose you. That is my promise. Every day for the rest of my life, I will choose you." She kissed me. "And I will choose you too. Not because I have to, but because I want to. Because you showed me that you are worth choosing." 2 years after the gala, we bought a house. Not a mansion like William's, but a comfortable home in a good neighborhood with a yard and space for the future we were building. We talked about children. Not yet, but soon. When we were ready. When we had built a foundation strong enough to support the chaos and joy that children would bring. I started teaching workshops on work-life balance for electricians and contractors, sharing what I had learned about building a career without sacrificing your relationships, about setting boundaries, about working smart, about remembering why you work in the first place, to build a life worth living, not just to accumulate achievements and money. Jennifer mentored younger women at Clearwater, teaching them how to navigate corporate politics while maintaining their integrity and priorities, how to advocate for themselves, how to build careers that served their lives instead of consuming them. She told them her story sometimes, about the gala, about almost losing her marriage, about learning that success means nothing if you are alone at the top. 3 years after the gala, William Castellano passed away. He left most of his fortune to charity, but he left me something personal, a letter. In it, he wrote about how much our conversations had meant to him, how watching me choose love over success had given him hope that people could change. He wrote about his regrets and his lessons, and he wrote about being proud of me, proud that I had learned what he learned too late. At his funeral, I met his children. They were polite but distant. They had complicated feelings about their father, love and resentment tangled together. I did not judge them. I understood that some damage cannot be undone. Some choices have permanent consequences. I was lucky. I had chosen differently while there was still time. 4 years after the gala, Jennifer got pregnant. We had been trying for 6 months, and when the test came back positive, we both cried happy tears. Our child would grow up in a home where both parents were present, where work mattered, but family mattered more, where we modeled partnership and communication, and choosing each other every day. During Jennifer's pregnancy, I turned down a major contract, one that would have been prestigious and lucrative, but would have required travel and long hours during her 3rd trimester. Old me would have taken it, would have convinced myself I could do both. But new me knew better. New me knew that presence matters more than prestige. that being there for the birth of my child mattered more than any achievement. Our daughter was born on a Tuesday morning in October. We named her Grace. Because Grace was what Jennifer had shown me by giving me another chance. Grace was what William had shown me by sharing his story. Grace was what we were building our lives on, the understanding that people make mistakes and deserve the chance to learn and grow. Holding Grace in my arms for the first time, I thought about everything that had led to this moment. The gala, the fight, the separation, the work, the therapy, the slow rebuilding of trust. If I had not ruined that night 4 years ago, would we be here? Would we have addressed our problems? Would we have learned to communicate and prioritize each other? Maybe, maybe not. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best growth. I looked at Jennifer in the hospital bed, exhausted and beautiful, and felt overwhelming gratitude. Gratitude that she had not given up on me. Gratitude that I had found the courage to change. Gratitude for second chances and hard work and the willingness to keep showing up even when it was difficult. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "About how lucky I am, about how close I came to losing this, all of this. But you did not lose it. You fought for it. We fought for it. That is what matters." 5 years after the gala, we went back to that coffee shop where we had our first study date, where we had reconnected during our separation, where we had chosen to rebuild. It was our anniversary tradition now. Every year we went back to where it started, where we fell in love, where we almost fell apart, where we chose to fight. We sat at the same table, drinking the same lattes, holding hands like we had when we were young and broke and hopeful. "Can you believe it has been 5 years?" Jennifer asked. "Feels like a lifetime ago, feels like yesterday, both at the same time." "If you could go back and change that night, would you?" I thought about it, really thought about it. I would not take the job. I would show up on time, I would support you the way you deserved, but I do not know if I would change the outcome, because that night forced us to confront things we were avoiding. It forced me to grow up, to take responsibility, to become the partner you needed, and I do not know if that would have happened without the crisis. You would have eventually. I believe that. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe I would have kept coasting, kept telling myself everything was fine, kept taking you for granted until you finally had enough and left. At least this way we dealt with it head on. We did the work. We built something stronger. Jennifer smiled. We did, and I am proud of us. Proud of you. Proud of the life we have built. I am proud of us too. Looking back now, I can see the pattern clearly. The choices that led to that terrible night. The choices that led to recovery. The choice to answer William's call. The choice to take the job. The choice to stay when I should have left. All of it leading to Jennifer standing in our bedroom telling me she would never forgive me. And then the harder choices. The choice to admit I was wrong. The choice to turn down future work. The choice to do therapy. The choice to show up consistently, repeatedly, until trust was rebuilt. Every relationship has a crisis point, a moment where you either break or grow stronger. For us, it was the gala. For others, it might be something else. An affair, a financial disaster, an illness, a loss. What matters is not avoiding the crisis. What matters is how you respond, whether you run or stay, whether you defend your ego or admit your mistakes, whether you do the work or give up. I have learned so much in these 5 years. I have learned that love is not a feeling, it is a choice you make every single day. I have learned that presence is the greatest gift you can give someone. Not money, not achievements, not even words, just your full undivided attention. I have learned that work is important, but people are more important. That success means nothing if you have no one to share it with. That you can have a career and a marriage, but only if you are intentional about both. I have learned that changing is hard but possible. That old patterns can be broken and new ones built. That therapy works if you are willing to be vulnerable. That communication solves almost everything. That boundaries are not walls, they are bridges. That asking for help is strength, not weakness. Most importantly, I have learned that I am not my father. That I can be different. That I can choose differently. That I can break generational patterns of absence and emotional unavailability, that I can be present and vulnerable and connected, that I can be a good husband and father without sacrificing my career or my identity. Today our life looks different than I imagined it would 5 years ago. My business is smaller but more sustainable. I work 40 hours a week, rarely more. I have a team that handles overflow. I take weekends off. I coach Grace's soccer team. I have dinner with my family most nights. My life is not perfect, but it is full of presence and connection and love. Jennifer's career continues to flourish. She is now a senior vice president, leading multiple departments. But she has also learned to delegate and set boundaries. She works hard, but not obsessively. She comes home, She is present with our family. She models for Grace what it looks like to be ambitious and balanced, to pursue excellence without sacrificing everything else. We still see Dr. Moore, our couples therapist, once a month, not because we have problems, but because we want to stay connected, because we know that relationships require maintenance. That communication does not happen automatically, that it is easier to prevent issues than repair damage. Every year on the anniversary of the gala, we have a tradition. We talk about what we have learned, what we are grateful for, what we want to work on in the coming year. Last year on the 5th anniversary, Jennifer said something that stuck with me. I am grateful you ruined my night 5 years ago, because it forced us to build something better, something real. I'm grateful for the pain because it led to growth, and I am grateful you chose to change instead of giving up. I think about the night William came to our apartment, the fear on his face when he realized what he had cost me, the wisdom he shared about choosing love over success, the hope in his voice when he told me I still had time to fix things. He saved my marriage in a way, by showing me what happened when you waited too long. When you chose work over people until there were no people left, by giving me the wake-up call I desperately needed. I wish he could meet Grace, could see that his intervention mattered, that his willingness to be vulnerable and honest with a stranger changed the trajectory of our lives, that his legacy was not just buildings and art and money, but the family we built because he showed me a different path. If you are reading this and you see yourself in my story, please listen. If you are prioritizing work over relationships, if you are telling yourself you will be more present later, if you are making promises you do not keep, if you are taking people for granted because you assume they will always be there, please stop. Please learn from my mistakes instead of making your own. The people who love you will not wait forever. They should not wait forever. They deserve partners who show up, who are present, who prioritize them. And you deserve the richness of relationships built on genuine connection instead of convenience. Success is meaningless without people to share it with. Money cannot buy back lost time. Achievements do not fill the emptiness of loneliness. Work will always be there. The people you love might not be. Choose them. Choose presence. Choose vulnerability. Choose communication. Choose love through action, not just words. Do it now, before it is too late. Before you find yourself in a beautiful empty house, wondering how you lost everything that mattered. I almost lost Jennifer. I almost lost my chance at this beautiful life we have built, all because I prioritized the wrong things, all because I did not understand what actually mattered. But I got a second chance. I got to learn and grow and change. Not everyone gets that opportunity. Do not waste yours. Do not wait for a crisis. Do not assume you have infinite time. Do not take people for granted. Show up. Be present. Do the work. Choose love. Every single day, choose love. That is what I learned the night I ruined my wife's gala to help a millionaire. That is what I learned when he showed up at our door the next day. That is what I learned through months of therapy and hard conversations and consistent effort. That love requires action. That presence is a choice. That relationships are built through small daily decisions to show up and be there fully. 5 years later, I am still learning, still growing, still choosing Jennifer and Grace and the life we are building together. Still grateful for second chances and hard lessons and the wisdom that comes from pain. If my story resonates with you, if you have made similar mistakes or are at risk of making them, I hope you will take action. Start therapy. Have the hard conversations. Set boundaries at work. Prioritize the people you love. Show up consistently. Be present fully. Choose love deliberately. It will not be easy. Change never is. But it is worth it. 1,000 times worth it. Because at the end of your life, you will not remember the jobs you completed, or the money you made, or the achievements you accumulated. You will remember the people you loved and who loved you back. You will remember the moments of connection and presence and genuine intimacy. Do not let work steal those moments. Do not let ambition blind you to what actually matters. Do not wait until it is almost too late. Start now, today, this moment. Choose the people you love. Choose presence. Choose life. Thank you for reading my story. If it helped you, if it made you think about your own choices and priorities, please share it. Leave a comment about your experiences. Let us build a community of people who choose love over success, presence over achievement, connection over accomplishment. Subscribe for more stories about learning to prioritize what matters, about building relationships that last, about choosing love every day. Because your story matters, your choices matter, your life matters. Make it count.